Hello everyone, my name is Sahil Shoibi and today I will be discussing a topic related to week 11 of the course. The question I will cover today is why is marriage rate declining? We will first begin with the introduction, then cover decline in marriage rates and go over why this is happening, and finally finish with the conclusion. To begin with, what is marriage? Marriage is a cultural and legal union between two individuals who decide to share and spend the rest of their lives together. As you can see on this table, during the past few years, marriage rates have been declining quite dramatically. The table shows the number of marriages per 1,000 unmarried women from the ages of 15 to 44 years old. In 1969, 149 women were married per 1,000 of them. However, this number kept decreasing, and 19 years later, in 1988, only 91 women were married per 1,000 of them. But why is this happening? There are a few reasons which might be the potential causes for this phenomena. The first one is lack of suitable partners. One reason for which marriage rates have been declining is not the fact that women do not receive proposals or they do not like marriage, but it is because they are unable to find the appropriate partner. Quote, "The problem," she concluded, "is that these women did not believe they could trust the men around them to stay out of trouble, to not beat them, to remain faithful, and to stay employed and pay their share of the bills. They could have married if they wanted, but not to anyone they found acceptable." End of quote. It seems like women are willing to get married, but only when the men meet their standards. This means that declining marriage rates do not arise from any declining interest in being married, but arise from not being able to find the ideal partner. Number 2 reason is socioeconomic status. When women have higher education and income, or basically a high socioeconomic status, they expect a man with at least the same level of socioeconomic status, if not higher. It is completely normal for a high-earning woman to desire a high-earning man. Quote, "One possibility, however, is that some highly skilled women find appealing marriage prospects relatively scarce because they prefer men whose socioeconomic status is at least as high, if not higher, than their own. Such a preference for marrying up is well known in the social science literature and would shrink the pool of appealing men as a woman's own socioeconomic status increases." End of quote. So as women's socioeconomic status increases and they earn more, they will have more trouble finding marriage partners, which can lead to a decrease in marriage rates. Number 3 is the possible connection between marriage rates and marital roles. Marriage comes with responsibilities and each partner has roles to commit to. Based on traditional views, women need to stay at home and take care of the children while men work outside on labor market and pay for the family. However, women who work nowadays and have their own income do not tolerate these traditional marital roles. Quote, "The usual argument views women as the important actors, assuming that as a woman's tolerance of a man's flaws declines when her earnings increase. This view is supported by studies that show declining marriage rates are associated with increased employment opportunities for women, and that women working outside the home are more likely to initiate divorce than are homemakers." End of quote. As mentioned, based on traditional views, when women have less earning potential, they will be at home, take care of the children, and do the household duties, while the men will work outside to produce income and provide for the family's needs, which seems to be a standard and efficient relationship as everyone will benefit from it. However, when women have more earning potential, they will not stay at home, which will compromise the above relationship. Quote, So the net gain from marriage declines as women's economic prospects improve, which naturally means that fewer are inclined to marry. End of quote. Based on this view, there is a difference between employed and unemployed women, their tolerance in marriage, and their rate of marriage formation. Unemployed women better tolerate the difficulties, accept the man's flaws, and agree to provide the domestic needs of the family. Increase in women's labor market participation has contributed to a decline in marriage rates as employed women do not tolerate the traditional roles, which explains why women are less interested in getting married nowadays. The reason 4 is marital roles and labor force participation. In some marriages, the husband works a full-time job, but the wife does not. So she takes care of the domestic needs of the family and does the household duties. Conversely, in some other marriages, which are less common, it is the other way around, where the wife engages in full-time paid labor and the husband does the household duties. There are also some marriages where both the husband and the wife engage in full-time paid labor. But it seems in these cases, the woman is held more responsible for the household duties based on traditional views. So, no matter if women work outside of home or not, regardless, their role in home to provide the domestic household needs is still more than men, even if they work outside the same amount. Quote, as a matter of historical fact, no one denies the factual claim that on average, wives continue to shoulder a disproportionate share of domestic duties, whether or not they also work for pay. End of quote. Reason number 5 is signaling model of high ability man. Some men delay proposing as they believe them being a high ability man is directly related to their wages and the amount of money they make. Quote, Bergstrom and Bagnoli propose a model in which high ability men delay proposing marriage until their wages accurately signal their ability level. They argue that waiting allows some of uncertainty surrounding a quality of high ability man to dissolve. End of quote. This can be a potential cause for a decline in marriage rate as high wage men marry later. The 6th and last reason is educational attainment. Non-college educated individuals experience a higher decline in marriage rate and increase in divorce rate compared to college educated individuals, as they used to marry more due to financial reasons. Quote, non-college educated people are poorer. Therefore, in the past, they would have been more inclined to marry for economic reasons. As living standards rose and labor-saving household products become available, they should have experienced the biggest decline in marriage and the largest increase in divorce. End of quote. So, in conclusion, there is not an absolute reason for the recent decline in marriage rate, but there are many potential factors that can contribute to this phenomena. I will conclude this presentation with these 3 questions as a basis for our weekly discussion. Question number 1. How do cultural values impact individuals' decisions to get married? Number 2. How has technology affected married lives? And number 3, are there any benefits or drawbacks associated with delaying marriage? Thank you so much for your attention, your time, and listening.